Stop for a moment and think about the last time you felt overwhelmed by the darker, hidden forces around you, not just inside yourself, but within society itself. In my research of Jung's work, I have found that what he called the collective shadow is one of the most profound and challenging discoveries he made about the psyche. The collective shadow represents all those unconscious traits, fears, prejudices, and destructive impulses that society refuses to acknowledge, yet unconsciously projects onto others. This shadow is not just individual, but a communal wound that lingers beneath the surface of culture, politics, and human relationships, and learning to navigate it without being consumed is no small feat. I've studied numerous accounts and case studies Jung worked with where individuals attempting to confront the collective shadow became overwhelmed and identified too strongly with it, losing their sense of self in the process. Jung's insight that the collective shadow is like a vast ocean beneath the visible piece of social life shows us why this matters now more than ever in our fractured and polarized world. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to feel the weight of this truth Jung discovered. The collective shadow operates invisibly but powerfully, and if we are not cautious, our engagement with it can pull us into despair, anger, or even fanaticism. But in my scholarship, what I find most inspiring is that Jung also offers a path to engage with this shadow consciously and constructively. He suggested this confrontation is vital for individuation, the process of becoming whole, because facing the collective shadow means recognizing parts of ourselves that are socially unacceptable, yet intrinsic to our nature. In my exploration of Jungian psychology, I have observed how he differentiates between being possessed by the shadow and integrating it. Shadow possession is unconscious identification with its contents, while integration involves conscious acknowledgement, reflection, and transformation. For example, Jung's patients often described terrifying encounters with collective archetypes like the trickster or the shadow itself, vivid symbols of these darker energies. Yet, through symbolic work, such as active imagination and dream analysis, Jung guided them to dialogue with these figures, peeling away projections and discovering hidden personal and societal truths rather than being engulfed. Put yourself in this situation I am about to describe. Imagine being a witness to social unrest or the spread of hateful rhetoric. Your first instinct might be to resist and react with equally dark energy. But Jung reminds us that the key is to observe these impulses without merging with them. His concept of the transcendent function is particularly relevant here. It embodies the psychological process that emerges when conscious awareness embraces unconscious contents, creating a new level of psychic unity. This means we must develop what Jung called an ego strong enough to hold the uncomfortable truths without being overwhelmed. From his experience, cultivating this ego strength involves practices that foster awareness and self-differentiation, such as regular self-reflection, immersion in symbolic art or mythology, and maintaining a connection to personal values and meaning. Historically, Jung's thinking evolved when he witnessed the rise of harmful collective movements and recognized that ignoring collective shadow dynamics only allowed them to surge uncontrollably. Unlike Freud, who focused mainly on the individual unconscious, Jung showed us the collective unconscious and its shadow as vital forces shaping human behavior and culture. Understanding this shifts the paradigm from denial and repression to conscious engagement and transformation. In practice, I advise those seeking to work with the collective shadow to start with grounding themselves firmly in their inner world, journaling feelings, dreams, and emotional responses whenever confronted by social darkness. Then, apply Jung's technique of active imagination by dialoguing with whatever images or emotions arise connected to collective suffering or injustice, creating a psychic space where these energies can be met without domination. Remember, the goal is not to fix or eradicate the collective shadow, that is impossible, but to become a conscious participant who witnesses these forces and integrates their lessons, contributing to a more conscious culture. Also, surround yourself with community or traditions that support this work, because Jung emphasized the social dimension of individuation. We are not solitary islands, but interconnected beings whose psychological health depends on collective healing too. In closing, Jung wanted us to remember this. The collective shadow is a part of the whole human story, yet it is not the whole story. When approached with courage and humility, it becomes a source of profound insight and personal transformation rather than destruction. If you apply this wisdom, you will find yourself more resilient and deeply connected to your own wholeness, even amid chaos. Next, be sure not to miss our upcoming discussion on what mature masculine energy looks like psychologically according to Jung. This is crucial because this energy represents a key archetype that can hold shadow material with strength, empathy, and balanced authority, a vital step for anyone navigating collective shadows today. I invite you to like, comment your thoughts or experiences with collective shadows, and subscribe so you won't miss this essential next chapter in our Jungian journey. Tomorrow's exploration builds directly on these insights, preparing you for the profound task of embodying psychological maturity in a tumultuous world.